welcome to the channel. I'm going to do a quick review of this vehicle. I want to talk about the ownership of it, the ownership experience of this particular vehicle for the past year plus since I've had it. This is a 2019 Mercedes-Benz E450 4MATIC sedan with the bi-turbo engine. So I'm going to go over some numbers and things like that related to the experience of this car. So I bought it 2023, the end of November 2023. When I bought it, it had 35,000 miles, and the asking price, well, I ended up negotiating down to 37. So 37, I also did a trade-in, which was a 2016 Lexus ES350. I forget the trim level, but it's whichever Lexus had everything, their top of the line ES350. That was also a 6-cylinder engine. It did not have as much power as this 6-cylinder, and that one was also front-wheel drive only. I believe that one had about 260 something horsepower, whereas this one has 362. But anyway, as far as the deal, that I think was a pretty good deal. I actually did not get it from a Mercedes dealer, but I was another car dealer located in the city. And I'd been watching out for an E450 for quite a while, and I was open to the coupe or sedan, and I ended up seeing this. Actually, I was looking for another one of the W212 E350s and ended up finding the W213, which is this one, 450. So I thought this was the better deal, especially since I was planning on keeping it long term. And since I was planning on keeping it long term and knowing how expensive Mercedes can be as far as repairs, I also purchased a warranty, which I believe the warranty is either 6 or 7 years, and it covers just about everything on this car. So turbos, engine, all the engine components, all types of stuff on this car. So it's for me, it definitely offers a peace of mind in knowing that if I have something major happen between warranty and my insurance, if it's an accident or something like that, I should be able to deal with whatever it is. As far as options on this vehicle, which is another reason why I purchased this particular one, is because of the driver's assist. So Mercedes has some of the best, or I would say one of the best driver's assist systems in the business. So they have their Distronic, which you can see this emblem right here that's filled in. So that's the radar for the Distronic system. It works in conjunction with these cameras. So one of the cameras also works with it, and then another camera, I believe, is a lane keeping assist, and then that center piece is just basically your washer, the rain sensor. So the lane keeping, the Distronic, it has the ability to do the assisted driving, which will maintain your speed. Braking, can do full braking, emergency braking if it needs to. And working with the lane keeping assist, it can keep the vehicle in its lane. It'll alert you if you're drifting out of your lane and help to correct you. And you can set that up to have it vibrate the steering wheel or give you an audible alert. Part of it is the, what do you call that? well, I think that's it for the driving. The steering. So it also has the ability to steer. I believe they call it active steering. So if you're going around curves on, let's say, a highway or a ramp onto or from a highway, it has the ability to navigate around the entire curve. Hands-free, obviously Mercedes doesn't recommend that you do it hands-free, but it does work, and it works very well. So it'll stay centered. It'll adjust the speed accordingly, obviously if cars are in front of you. And this particular vehicle also has the navigation-based GPS. And I bring that up because if you are activating or using the Distronic system and all that stuff with the navigation, it will then adjust the vehicle to the speed of the road or the path that you're on. So for example, if you're on a highway and the speed limit is, let's say 60 miles per hour, and you're going to approach a ramp to take you onto another highway, well, that speed, is whatever it is, 55 or whatever, but the recommended speed for the ramp may be 40 miles per hour. This will decrease its speed automatically to 40 miles per hour to, take it around the bend. And then once you get onto the other road, it will adjust accordingly. The other thing that the navigation system does, working in conjunction with the Distronic, is it will sort of anticipate where you need to get off or make a turn or something like that. So if you're on the road, you're using the system, and you come to an intersection where you need to make a left or right turn, it will start to slow down for you. The other part of the Distronic system is when you're on a highway and you want to do a lane change, you just tap the turn signal, left or right, and it will check the adjacent lane, make sure it's clear, and move when it's clear. If it's not, it obviously won't move, and then it'll continue to monitor for a few seconds, and then once it's clear, then it'll go ahead and move. Sometimes with that, I haven't figured out how long it will wait and check, but it does. We'll move around to the interior. And this is, again, 4MATIC, so it's all-time, all-wheel drive. This is the interior. And this is the interior rear. Okay. All right, I'm going to go over some of the options on this. One of them being the Distronic system. That is the system where it can do the semi-autonomous driving. It's not Tesla level as far as autonomous driving or like some of the newer, but it does pretty well. It can obviously maintain its speed, accelerate, decelerate, and two things that sets this apart from other vehicles I've had with all these systems is that this can also take itself around curves, like gradual curves and bends in the highway or ramps. It can handle it pretty well, hands-free. And it can do a lane change on its own. Obviously, you tell it when you want to change lanes in this version, but it can complete an entire lane change on its own. It'll evaluate whether the other lane or whatever lane you want to go to is clear or not, and If it's not, it won't go. If it is clear, it'll go ahead and, do the signal, move over, and turn the signal off once it's finished. One of the other options on this one is the panoramic sunroof. So this roof opens pretty wide and lets in a lot of light inside. The shade expands, goes the full length of the vehicle. Inside the car, there's also, the glass window in the back, or the glass roof in the back. So it lets in a lot of light, which is good with this being a dark interior, or dark, it's pretty much all black interior. One of the other features on this car is the ability to park itself. So it can bay park and parallel park. I don't get to use those features too often, but I have used them and they do work. I will admit, using them, when you first start out using them, it is very, it's a little scary because it goes pretty fast. But one of the things that you can do is control the speed. So as it's parking and doing the maneuvering, you can take over at any given time, or if it's going too fast for you, then you can just, press on a brake and slow it down a little bit. But as far as all the maneuvering and things like that, it does really well. It also has the lane keep assist. So if you're veering in or out, veering out of your lane, it will help keep you in your lane and notify you if you are veering out of your lane. So you can set that option to vibrate the steering wheel or do an audible indication or notification. Here are the controls for the Distronic. So it's pretty easily accessible. This is much better than some of the versions that have a stalk that's sort of hidden behind this area where it's kind of hard to see and access or whatever and know what you're doing. But this right here is pretty good. Another extra on this one is it has the hands-free deal where you can kick to open the trunk. Let's see if it'll work. There you go. And you can also kick to close the trunk. There you go. And speaking of the trunk, another little fun tip, there are 4 ways to close the trunk, 3 ways to open it, which is interesting. But you have the button here. I don't know if you can see that. So you can use that button to open and close the trunk. You can use the button under the lid of the trunk. So there's a button hidden up under here. And then you have once you open the trunk, let me show you this. Oh, I don't know if I got it. There you go. So you have those 2 buttons there to close the trunk, and then you can lock the car with the other one, do it all together. And then you have the key fob, so you can open the trunk with the key fob, nothing new. You can also close the trunk with the key fob. So that's a neat little trick. And then there's also a way you can lock the trunk all together. So if you do if you use a valet service, there's a switch inside the glove box. If you slide that switch, that will disengage the trunk so nobody can access it. One other feature that is pretty neat is the ability to be able to open and close all the windows and the roof using just a key. So right now you see the roof is open, and if I use the key fob, point at the car, hold the unlock button, and I can open all the windows. This is nice if you have your car parked outside and it's a pretty warm day. You want to just let it vent and air out so you don't get into a car that's super hot. Likewise, you can close everything up using the lock button. Point it at the car, it'll lock the car, close the windows and sunroof all at the same time. You just keep holding it and then it'll finish the cycle. You can stop at any point during the closing process, and then it'll just close the windows or roof halfway or to whatever point. But you do have to hold the key or hold the button the entire time. There's a button here that will allow the hood to open to a full 90-degree angle. This is a look at the inside of the engine bay. While we have the hood open, we'll go ahead and I'll just show you some of the basics. So there's your battery. The battery is obviously located under it, and that's the terminal you want to use if you need to get a jump start for yourself or help somebody else out. Coolant, and then obviously is where you fill your oil. Dipstick to check the oil. And then these two banks here, I believe that's where the engine air filters are. And then of course these are the channels to get the air there. This piece right here is just a cover. So this doesn't really do anything, but just keep it looking nice. And then this part here is just allows air to flow just under this cover. Washer fluid. Turbos are under there somewhere. So here's a fun fact about this particular engine. This is the M276, and I believe this same engine is used in the 2018 AMG C43, the 2019 AMG E53, I believe the 2019 S450, and one of the G wagons. So let's talk about the parking, which is another feature that I wanted. So this has the sensors all the way around. You know, that's nothing new or special these days. All the cars, just about all cars, have some type of parking sensors. You know, these little round sensors have been on cars for decades now, so it's not a big deal. But this car can park itself. It can parallel park. It can bay park, so it can pull in forward, pull in backwards. It can parallel park from the front, parallel park from the back, and it will pull itself out of the parking spot. Now the catch to that part though is it will only pull itself out of the parking spot if it parked itself. So you get in the car, you park somewhere, maybe you're doing a little shopping or you're going to work or whatever the situation is. When you come back to get in the car to go to your next destination, it will know that it parked itself, and you just tell it that, hey, I want the car to pull itself out, and it'll do it. And it does it very nicely. It is something to try to get used to because it does it pretty quickly. A little too quick for my taste. But the good thing about that is you can control the speed. So if it's going too fast for you, you can always just give a little pressure on the brake and it'll slow it down without it stopping. And with that in mind, you can also stop it at any time. You can take over any of these systems that it does on its own. You can intervene literally anytime. A little bit more about the parking system. So it has cameras all the way around. So it does the 360 view, top down, front, rear, sides. And so it uses all these cameras. One other thing about the parking is it has the 360 view. So it has these cameras all the way around the vehicle. So here's the front camera. There's one inside the trunk and one under the mirror, the side mirror on each side of the car. So there's that one. And the one for the trunk only pops out as needed. So it's kind of under, it's tucked away under here. And so it'll pop out whenever it's needed. The other deal with the parking is it has sensors all the way around, all along the side of the vehicle. So if you get close to anything, let's say a curb, it will give you an alert, and it'll give you an approximation or a zone of where the issue is or whatever it is you're getting close to. So it does that all the way around. The corners of the vehicle, the lower part of pretty much every part of the vehicle that's low to the ground. So all the way around. With that being said, it should be pretty difficult to curb your wheels, but you know, things still happen, clearly, because that's one of the things that I noticed on this car when I got it. The wheels had a little scuff, a couple of them, so it wasn't a deal breaker, so not a big deal. Another extra on this one is it has the hands-free deal where you can kick to open the trunk. Let's see if it'll work. There you go. And you can also kick to close the trunk. There you go. And speaking of the trunk, another little fun tip, there are 4 ways to close the trunk, 3 ways to open it. So you can use that button to open and close the trunk. You can use the button under the lid once you open the trunk. So you have those 2 buttons there to close the trunk, and then you can lock the car with the other one. And then you have the key fob. So you can open the trunk with the key fob, nothing new. You can also close the trunk with the key fob. And then there's also a way you can lock the trunk all together. So if you do if you use a valet service, there's a switch inside the glove box. If you slide that switch, that will disengage the trunk so nobody can access it. Here are the dual exhausts on this car. What's interesting about this dual exhaust system is that they don't function full time. They only, most of the time it's only one exhaust operating or in use. And then when I put it in Sport, I'm not sure if it does it in Sport, but definitely when I put it in Sport Plus, both exhausts are fully functional. And this is not the fake exhaust tips like a lot of the other Mercedes and other manufacturers do. This one is real, is a real exhaust. So that's where the smoke and exhaust comes out. So it's not fake, which again, something else that I like.